Welcome to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Joyous conversations about what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about our one reality. You have nothing to fear. You are eternal and you are perfectly loved. Knowing the truth changes everything. Now, here's Roberta.
Welcome to Seek Reality. I'm Roberta Grimes, and I am delighted that you're with us today. Oh, my dear Seek Reality friends, I love hearing from people, but so many of the people I hear from, unfortunately, have just had a devastating loss. And I'm delighted to hear from them too, especially since the news that I can give them is so great. That's especially true when the person I'm hearing from has just lost a loved animal. If the person you're either, sometimes people even call me, but it's better if you send me just an email. If you send me an email to tell me that you've lost a furry four-legged friend and you'd like some comfort, I have great comfort to give you because they're all just fine. And that wonderful news basically is that every animal that you ever have loved is waiting for you now, young, healthy, in the afterlife, where love never ends. And they wait sometimes for quite a long time for you. There are some wonderful stories that actually surround that. When I was doing a lot of reading 50 years ago of what had been received through deep trance mediums at the turn of the 20th century, some of them were actually funny because what the person communicating from the afterlife through the deep trance medium often complained about was that, yes, someone that the communicator was asking about, Aunt Mildred, Uncle Alfred, someone who had just died. Yes, they had arrived, they were there, just fine, but nobody could get close enough to give them a hug because of all these blankety-blank dogs and cats that were in the way, and they had died and waited a long time, and now they were the ones who wanted to be first greeted by this new arrival, and I thought that was funny. But it's true. All of the animals that you have loved are waiting there for you, and they'll wait until you come home, and then they will love you to death. Pardon the pun. So here today to talk all about it again is our dear friend Karen Anderson, who was Seek Reality's wonderful animal and afterlife expert. She's with us for the 8th time, and we're delighted to have her back. She thanked us that we had invited her back again, but frankly, I couldn't wait to have her back because of all the times I hear from people who really need to hear from her. Karen is a natural psychic. She loves animals, so what she's gravitated to, of course, is becoming a terrific animal psychic. She has documented her career in 3 books, which I loved all 3 of them. They read like candy. One is called Hear All Creatures. Another is The Amazing Afterlife of Animals, and her most recent wonderful book is called The Pet I Can't Forget, Finding Hope and Healing with Signs from the Afterlife. And yeah, there are a lot of ways our pets give us signs. We'll talk about that today. Besides offering courses in animal communication, Carol now devotes her life to helping animals in need as the founder and CEO of Painted Rain Ranch. Love that name. Which is a nonprofit animal sanctuary. Karen's 30-acre ranch is a project that's very near and dear to her heart. It provides a final refuge for the pets no one else wants, including elderly, special needs, and abandoned companion animals that otherwise might not find a home. Karen, my very dear friend, welcome. It's so lovely to have you back with us today.
Oh, thank you so much. I am so happy to be back again, and Happy New Year to everyone and everyone who's tuning in. Hope you're doing good. And for those of you who are watching, this is my little boy, Beanie the Weenie.
Beanie the Weenie.
Beanie the Weenie, yes. He's a little Chihuahua and Rat Terrier mix. He's from a high kill shelter that I rescued. So thank you for having us.
There is such a thing as a high kill shelter?
Oh, yes.
Oh, my.
The animals have
tell us that story briefly. They were going to just kill this dog because it was brought to the shelter?
Yeah, they have 3 days Hmm.
You go there every day?
I can't. I can't. I would have a million animals, right? Um, I go when I can. And yes, it's tragic. There's so many unwanted pets in our shelters that are overloaded right now, overwhelmed, and yet it just breaks my heart to see people getting, puppies from breeders and these
Why would they
specialty.
breed all these dogs that nobody is going to want?
I don't know. I wish I had the answer, but please adopt, please rescue, please go save a life. This little guy has just been such a joy to me. And I was always a big dog person, Rottweilers and Chows and German Shepherds. And this little guy just wiggled his way right into my heart. And he is just the best,
Oh
absolute best.
my. Oh, that ruins my day to think all those animals are being bred that nobody is going to want.
It's terrible. And I see it all the time. In fact, these are designer dogs and, doodles are real popular and, it's go to your shelter, please, and look for the ones who don't have a good chance, like the older ones, the ones that maybe are a little more shy. That's what I do. I look for the ones that no one else wants. I look for the ones that have health issues and the ones that are special needs, maybe need a thyroid pill or whatever. They will sit there sometimes the rest of their natural life in a shelter and they'll never enjoy a home or be loved again. And those are the ones that I focus on for my nonprofit sanctuary.
Wow. Oh, that's really horrifying.
It is. It's terrible. And we have to just become more aware and know that there are so many that need homes right now. They're not even taking, if you find a stray, they won't even take them because they don't have anywhere to put them, at least in my area in Eastern Washington where I live. And so they're looking for people to foster. So even if you don't want to adopt, you can just foster, which is great because then it gives these guys a chance to learn how to behave in a home and they learn about family and other animals and it makes them more adoptable and you can really truly help an animal just by fostering.
Yeah, oh sure. And then maybe they'll fall in love with you and you and
Well,
them.
I'm I'm a foster failure.
Yes,
I,
yeah, that's a
I started
failure.
out
Yeah,
fostering and they all stayed. So yeah.
yeah, well, yeah, there's that. So Karen, we talked about some questions beforehand that sounded terrific. So I pretend I asked them, but I would love to have you answer those questions for people.
Absolutely. Well, as I was having my morning coffee and looking forward to our show, I was just asking for guidance as to what maybe somebody tuning in to the show might need to hear, or maybe what I could share from my knowledge base and my experience that would help somebody on their journey who has either lost a beloved companion, is about to lose a beloved companion, or is maybe struggling from a loss a long time ago that you're still holding on to a lot of that pain and that grief and that roller coaster of emotions. And one of the most common questions that I'm asked as a pet loss specialist is, are they okay? Is my cat or dog or horse or parrot, iguana, whoever it is, bunny rabbit,
Wanna,
are they okay in the afterlife? Are,
right.
I want to make sure that they're safe and they're loved and they're protected
Yes,
and that they're with family and
they're
my
comfortable.
other
It's not
pets, right?
scary.
We
Yes,
we don't want them to be lost or
yes.
lonely or scared,
Oh, yes.
right? And if we
Sure.
don't know, we don't know. So we have these horrible visions of them being scared and alone in this dark, spooky place and they can't find their way and they don't
Of
know where we are,
course.
right? I mean, that's where our knee-jerk response is to
We're,
go,
we're a parent, and this in our child, we can't protect our child now. Where is that child? That
right.
fuzzy child. Yeah.
And it's a loop we play over and over
Oh,
in our
yes.
minds. And it'll make us crazy because we stress about it and we can't stop thinking about it. And that's such a common question that I get from
Of
people who
course.
read my
Oh,
books
of
or
course.
who follow on my social media pages. So I want to share with you, Roberta, and of course, all of your viewers and listeners, that in the 28 years now that I have been an animal communication expert and afterlife specialist, I have never come across a single departed pet that wasn't perfect in their afterlife.
I've had the same
Absolutely.
experience, but from you, that makes a big difference. Yes.
Even those that we might think because of how they passed away, I call it transition. Let's just say, and I'll keep this very even here, that they didn't pass the way we had hoped, that it was a little more troubling.
Yes.
Um,
I know what you mean.
I
Yes.
won't go there because I'll start crying. Even those who may have been subjected to something unpleasant are perfect. It's not even a memory of theirs. It's like they don't take trauma with them.
Yes.
If they share it, if they happen to show an image or if I get a feeling or something, it's as if they're telling it about someone else that it happened to, that it's not them, it's not their experience, they're just sharing it. So they're very detached from that experience. Or I might just get a sense of, like, let's say that they had maybe a blunt force trauma. I might just feel pressure in my head, or something very mild, but it's not like the things that keep us awake at night. It's not like that. In fact, generally they don't even want to talk about that, and they'll go on to something else because it's not fun for them to talk about it, and they are so full of love and joy and energy and excitement that they're talking to us, that they want to talk about the good stuff, the happy times, the good things. So I know I have wondered, even with the work that I do and the experience that I have, if all of mine have made it okay. And absolutely positively, yes. So put that to rest. If you're struggling with that thought, you know, are they okay? Are they safe? Are they with loved ones? Yes, 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 and yes. And even the ones they didn't like if you have pets that didn't like each other in life, they seem to like each other in the afterlife. That all just kind of melts away. They might reference something like, oh, there was a little bit of a rivalry or a jealousy or whatever, but in the afterlife, those kind of competitive things don't seem to matter. So they all are near each other, with each other, and spending time with each other. So are they okay? They are perfect in every way.
It's really astonishing that we are able to say that so universally about animals. We can't say it about people,
No.
but we can, to an amazing degree, say it about animals.
Yes.
And we will get these wonderful communication events with animals. I've had communication dreams about, especially from my horse, which just blow my mind
Yes.
in detail, as if he's talking to me and telling me stories that I've never gotten such communications that were so complete from human beings, but I do get them from my horse. I can't wait to see him again. I mean, his personality comes through much better in the dreams than it ever did when he was like, four-footed and had fur. So, and a mane, and his mane is still a left mane, which they're supposed to have right manes. I mean, it's just a wonderful experience to communicate with animals. It is so amazing and great. You have such a lovely life that you communicate with these creatures.
Well, and I will tell you that even as an animal communicator, there's certain things that I am not privileged to know. Like, I don't know everything about my pets. I don't know everything about their health issues. I'm not supposed to have all the answers. I have to also experience challenges, the ups and downs, making mistakes, and wishing I had done something different. It's not like, oh, lucky Karen, she can just check in with her pet and find out what's wrong with them. Sometimes, Roberta, that information is not accessible to me. And I'm just like everyone else, scratching my head trying to figure out what's going wrong. I've got a cat right now that we're scratching our heads trying to figure out what's wrong with him. And that's just part of being human and the human experience. And I accept that you don't have all the answers. You do the best you can
Right.
within your abilities. And above all, you love them, love them, love them, love them, because love is the number one of all of the emotions and all of the reasons why our pets are with us, our beloved companions. I kind of cringe calling them pets because they're so much more than
Oh,
pets.
yes.
So even though my book is titled The Pet I Can't Forget, I had to do that because it rhymed.
No, that was a good title. That's true.
Animal doesn't rhyme with anything.
But
Maybe
animal also
cannibal.
makes them seem to be somehow different from our milieu, whereas pets makes them seem as if they're part of um, our family group in a way. Um, no, but they are definitely part of our family group.
They are.
Definitely.
So I don't mean to belittle them by saying our pets. So just, um,
I don't think your pet feels belittled right about now. I think he feels like
no, he's pretty
I'm
happy
your
right about
baby.
now,
I'm
but
just your baby. Yes.
Beanie the Weenie, so cute. He started out as Benton, but that just morphed. I don't know if you morphed the names of your animals,
Oh
but
yeah.
the
Yes. They
names
were they
always,
were too short, so I lengthened them all.
yeah, they morph into. And that's another thing. Our companions love their nicknames so much because that nickname is usually filled with so much love when we say it. When we call them by their nickname, it's because we're loving them in that moment. We usually call them by their real name when they're in trouble, right?
It's true. Like children. Yes.
But they love those nicknames. So for those who are really struggling with, are my companions okay? They are. You don't need to worry about them.
100%. Just remember whose pet they are now.
That's right. And, the other thing that I hear a lot of, and this question, it's so common, is people want to know if their companion struggled or suffered at the end of their life, or let's say they weren't there when their animal made their transition out of their body. And so they wanted to know, did they suffer? And this kind of touches on what I already shared with you. They don't always tell me that. I don't always know because that's not important to them, number one. Number two, it's not fun. They don't want to talk about it. They want to talk about happier things. And it really is an interesting experience that an animal will oftentimes leave their physical body moments before, like the soul leaves moments before tragedy strikes. And I've shared this with
That's
you in
true
the
with
past.
humans too. If it's a traumatic death,
Yes,
virtually
I'm pretty
never
sure.
are they in that body when the body dies.
I'm
That's
pretty
true.
sure we have talked about that before. If you talk to a human being who has been in a car accident, let's say,
They're never in the body.
they have no memory. It's like blank, and they have no clue. They knew that what they were doing leading up to, but there's like, blank once
right.
they suffer the trauma. And the same with animals. So did they suffer? Did they struggle? I will tell you, the end of life is a struggle because the body is trying to survive. So there's always going to be, they struggle to breathe, they struggle. Yes, there's going to be that, but don't focus on that. That's just the natural process of a physical body
Plus,
ending.
the animal spirit was probably not there. Was
Right.
probably already gone. Yep.
They were gone. They were already like, at the resort in the afterlife with their toes in the sand.
They were on the beach.
Little
Yeah.
umbrella. So it wasn't their experience. So focusing on those types of topics is common. I've done it. I'm guilty. But it's unnecessary. You are expending a whole lot of energy on topics that you don't need to. And you could instead put that energy towards something more positive and powerful and more beneficial to your afterlife connection with them with all that energy. And that's the other.
It's important that we all remember the time we had with the animal.
Yes.
Think how positive that time always was. It doesn't change once the animal transitions. That it's still a positive relationship to the animal. And it needs to be the same to us. The animal doesn't expect that relationship to change at all.
And they don't judge us like we judge us. They don't judge us. They don't sit there and analyze, oh, well, my mom, Roberta,
Oh my goodness, not
she
at
went and
all.
visited a friend instead of staying home with me when I was sick one night. They don't do that. That's
No, never.
a human trait. So remove that from the equation. That's a human thought process. So animals don't judge us that way.
right.
They don't blame.
They just love us to pieces.
They do.
They're thrilled that they're able to watch us and wait, but it's okay that they can wait. Mom's coming. There are people there who love and care for our pets, and those people tell our pets, Mom's coming or Dad is coming.
Yep.
There's no time there. They don't experience time passing. They maybe take a few runs around that beautiful field as they wait, but that may take 40 years in our time. In their time, it feels like an afternoon. And there we come. And that's the way it feels to our pets. And we have to remember that.
When I was
pass for them.
When I was conducting sessions and I had a departed animal spirit, energy, soul, whatever you want to call it, come through to me, they could literally show me past, present, future as if it were happening 360 all around them all at once. So I would be in the middle. Kind of remind me, like I used to go to Disneyland all the time when I was a kid because I lived 20 minutes away. And there was an attraction down there. I think it was something like it had Abraham Lincoln speaking in it. And you were sitting in your seat, but it revolved around this big stage. And there were all these different animated things to see as it revolved around. I don't remember the name of it, but many of the people in my age might remember that. But that's what it was like. I'm center stage with the animal's soul, and they're showing me this 360 past, present, and future, like it's happening all at once. And it's a concept that we in our linear time have a hard time conceptualizing because we think, well, we're in the now, but the past is the past and the future we can't see. Not so in the afterlife. Everything is very visible just by looking or setting your intention like, ooh, what's over there? So you shift and you turn that direction, you look over there and, oh my goodness, I can see the past. And if I shift the other way, oh my goodness, I can see the future. And it's amazing how that happens in that dimension. It's a non-linear experience. I'm going to say a word here, quantum, that everything is happening all around you at one time, that you can access all of that information.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible experience that fascinates me. There's so much quantum involved in animal communication and the afterlife. I love it. And I bug out on that stuff. I do. I love it. But that's what's really, I think, fascinating to experience, is that they bring all of their experiences forward. But when I say all of their experiences, Roberta, I mean they talk about mainly the good stuff. If I see something that wasn't good, I don't necessarily know that it's bad. And I'll give you an example. One time I saw all these like whiskey bottles all over the place. like like tons and tons of whiskey bottles. So I mentioned it. Why are you seeing whiskey bottles? And I smelled it, because whiskey is like really powerful. I smelled whiskey. Why am I seeing all these whiskey bottles? Well, it was somebody's departed father who had a drinking problem that he ended up losing his life from, because his alcoholism basically ended his physical life here. Well, I didn't know it was a bad thing. It just came up. It was just a flash, and I got it, so I shared it, and it ended up being something that my client was like, oh, that's not really that was, well, I didn't know that it wasn't a good thing, but this gentleman shared with me this image, so I shared it. And that's how it is. We don't always know what that represents or what that means, but they do show little snippets of their life. And the animals have like practically zero bad experiences, because they're with you and they love you and they're happy and joyful. So imagine that. They're just going to send all kinds of good images and good feelings and positive emotions.
My experience with, and I know much, much less about this than you do, but my experience with all animal communications is that they're always some version of very positive. And that's been your experience too.
It is. And they're very different from us in that respect. We as humans tend to focus first on the negative. Like if I can't get a hold of my mom, right away I think, oh, what's wrong? She fell, she hurt herself, she's been in an accident. I go right to the negative, right? We go
right.
Worst case scenario. Animals don't do that. So they're all about the positive and all about the love. And so it's a real big learning experience for me. I've learned so much from the animals in doing this work for nearly 3 decades now. I'm getting close to three decades. That has been the biggest takeaway. It really is about the love and the experiences. And even if you have a companion that you don't feel that super strong connection with, there is a reason that they are with you. They're going to open up something in your heart and in your soul to help you learn and grow from that experience, even if this isn't like your end all soul animal that, you love more than anything else. You're going to evolve from having that experience and having them in your life. And that's what's important. That's how it's meant to be. We aren't meant to connect on a soul level with every single animal that we have. If you do, yay, you.
Right. No, I think that's also very important. I mean, the fact that it doesn't you don't have to worry, and people have asked me this, what if I didn't love him enough? But I love him so much. But
Right.
you don't have to worry about that. I mean,
No.
if it was an animal that you loved, they'll be waiting for you. There's just no question about that.
Yep. And I also get so many questions about, and I'm guilty on this too, do they forgive me? People feel so guilty. I have felt so guilty because we did or didn't do this, we did or didn't do that. There's so many different scenarios that
And
can play.
do they forgive me that I had him put to sleep, even though he was only 15, and I could have paid for this very expensive operation? People have
Yes,
asked me that question.
yes,
Oh my goodness, he was 15, and how much was the operation again?
right. I get that a lot, and people tend to, and again, I'm guilty. We tend to get stuck in there. We get stuck in that story, and that's our story. And we're not willing to, even if Karen Anderson comes forward and says, Roberta, you really don't need to feel that way because the animals don't experience that. We stay stuck in that story. And it's a real easy place to get stuck in, is being stuck in that guilt or that grief or remorse or whatever you want to call that. I don't even know what that is. It's just a feeling like I really could have done this differently, or I should have done this differently. And the ultimate takeaway from that is we often do the best we can, but hindsight always gives us more that we could.
Now, a year later, you have time to think about it, and I should have had the operation. Well, the
Right.
poor animal, put the animal through that horror, all
Right.
the pain of the operation, just so he lived 6 months longer. I mean, he was at the end of his life anyway.
Right. And
No animal
I
ever
don't want
has
to.
said, no, you should have let me go sooner.
Right. Right. And we can't ask them that. Like if I were to conduct a session and say, do you want to have this expensive surgery? The animal can't answer that. It's an unknown in the future. They're not able to say, well, yeah, actually, I want you to spend $10,000 on that surgery and put me through the worst time in my life so that I'm, confined. They can't do that. And I'm laughing about it with you because that they can't. It's that they're not human, and they're not human. We have to manage them
Yes.
the best we can and look out for them. They trust us to always look out for them and do the best we can on their behalf with the knowledge we have at that time. So anything that you look back on years later or months later, days later, even hours later, where you go, if I had only known this, or if I had only done that, you are the only one thinking that. I promise you. Your companion.
Every older dog deserves to have you say no to expensive surgery.
Yes.
Every older dog would say, don't put me through that just so I get a year or two more. Because
It is,
where I'm going is
Yep.
the most fun I ever had in my life. And in a minute, you'll be there with me, even though you're only 10 years old now. So give me this gift. Let me
and
go.
it's a horrible thing to make a euthanasia decision. I just had to do it.
Oh my goodness.
It right around Thanksgiving, which is just a month and a half ago or so.
Mhm.
I just had to, very unexpectedly, didn't see this one. It was a complete shock. And, there were just a wave of emotions and regrets and all this
Yeah,
stuff
but
that
it
hit me.
comes with the territory of having a pet. Having
And
any
yes,
animal dependent
yes.
on you, that's what you sign up for. You are going to make a euthanasia decision. Make the right one.
My thoughts are plan ahead. Already have in your mind what your parameters are within reason. If it gets to the point where they stop eating, if it gets to the point where they're unable to move on their own, if it gets to the point where they have more bad days than good days, like get your head in it ahead of time before you're in crisis. Because when you're in crisis mode, you can't make a decision. You're just all
And
over
you'll
the
spend any
place.
amount of money to get him another day. And
Right.
that's not
Right.
sensible.
And that's not necessarily what's best for them. That might
No,
be
it's
easier
not.
for us because we don't want to make that phone call. I'm bringing my dog or cat or whoever in to be euthanized. Nobody wants to do that. So we postpone the inevitable, right? We keep putting it off. We put it off. We delay. I've had more departed companions tell me this. I was so ready to go.
Right, right.
I was ready.
And there are so many people who would love to be in the position of that dog, that they can go before they have to die by inches. But human beings have to die by inches. That's the way it is.
Yeah. And
Dogs
it's,
can be given the gift of a nice, peaceful, in the special room at the vet's office, and
yep.
a nice, peaceful transition long before it. They
Yep.
have
And
advantages.
peaceful is the word. So try to stay out of crisis. When people ask me, well, when is the right time? I can't tell you. I will tell you, make the parameters, like I said, get it in your mind, plan A, plan B, have it in your mind, and try to avoid crisis because crisis comes up on weekends and holidays, right? The vet's closed or, you got to drive at
Yeah.
2 a.m. or whatever. Keep your pet in a peaceful place so that they can make their transition peacefully. Because if you're in crisis, they're in crisis.
Oh, sure.
So
Yeah. You don't want
if
them to feel that
you
way.
are crazed and going out of your mind and bawling, I'll never forget this. And I wrote about this in one of my books that I had my horse Dakota. She was in the corral and she was down, and she colicked and she was down. Well, I panicked, and I'm an animal communicator. I ran to her, and I'm screaming and bawling, and please, Dakota,
But
get up! Oh
this
my
is a
God,
code
get
one
up!
emergency.
Oh, don't die! I'm
Yeah.
having this complete meltdown. You know what she did to me? She snorted at me, and she said, "You need to go away."
Oh. Oh,
Because
gee.
I was putting all that on her and she was already feeling bad enough as it was. And I went, whoa, reality check. So I backed up, I calmed down, I gave her space, and it was much better. So I learn too. I learn every day. I learn with every experience. I learn with every loss. I learn with every time I go through something. We learn, we evolve, we grow. That's why we're here. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So if
Yeah.
you are taking something away from your experience, maybe you would do it a little differently next time. That's exactly the reason that you experienced that. So you can now see how you may handle it a little differently next time or
That's
be
right.
more prepared next time or whatever it
That's
is.
right.
It's not a judgment day. We're never being judged.
It's a real serious situation to be a pet parent. It's not for sissies.
It's
Yeah.
not. And with my animal sanctuary, we have a lot of animals, so we have a lot of issues and health, and we have a lot of losses. So I'm in this tremendous learning curve right now, just because, like I
Yeah.
said, I just lost one that I didn't see coming. And you just have to grasp and embrace them while you have them and know that you are not given all the information you need to make it a happy ending. So make every day a beautiful day and provide them with a
Yeah.
peaceful end. And when possible, we can't always be there. I've had that happen too, where I wasn't there when an animal has passed. And I want you to know, and to everyone who experienced that, that's okay too. There really isn't a checklist where the animal says, well, you weren't here when I took my last breath, so, you're a bad mom or a bad dad. Or
No, there you go.
there's,
Sometimes they prefer that actually.
they do. They go off by themselves in nature. They
Yep.
remove themselves. They go find a quiet place. It's only the human animal that wants to gather, right? We want to get everyone and surround that person and
Yeah.
say our prayers or say our goodbyes or whatever. In the animal kingdom, they typically will just go and be by themselves
That's
in
right.
that moment of vulnerability when they know that the end is near. So that's perfectly okay too. So don't carry that feeling of, oh my gosh, I wasn't there. Don't carry that with you either. That's, again, I call it unnecessary. Experience it, feel it. Gosh, I wish I would have been there. I wish things would have happened differently. Okay, now shift and let's go forward from there. Now let's move into a more positive direction, which brings me to the last thing that I wanted to share, which are the 3 tips that I have learned that you can stay connected to your departed pets. 3 things that you can
What
do.
are those?
Simple things that
What
you
are,
can do.
oh, I can't wait to hear these. What are
Well,
these?
and truly, we don't want that to ever end, that bond to ever stop, right? We want to keep
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely right.
So The number three thing is to show them gratitude. So think about everything that they helped you experience in the time they were with you. Even if you had them for a week, what did you get to experience to have them in your life and to
So you
experience them?
express these to your pet?
Yes. And say that out loud to them. Tell them. And that's my number two. Thank them. Thank you, Dakota, my horse, for, showing me how to stay calm in a crisis or whatever it is
Yeah.
that
And
I needed.
Dakota was in a crisis and told you to just cool it. Yeah,
You
that
need
was
to
pretty
go
smart.
away,
Yeah.
right? So thank them, acknowledge them. Roberta, don't you feel good when someone says, wow, Roberta, you did a really great job on that podcast. I loved it. You had such great topics and great
Oh,
speakers,
I do love that. That's
right?
good.
We all
Yeah,
want to be acknowledged for what we do, and animals
absolutely.
do
Yeah,
too. They want
that's
to be
true.
acknowledged for what they bring into our lives. So thank them. Say it out loud. Say it quietly in your mind. Doesn't matter. They can read your mind.
Of course.
You don't have to say the words. You can. You can write them a letter. I love you so much. You brought me all of these things. It's
True.
it doesn't matter what your process is of showing your gratitude, but honor everything that they did to bring to you in your life. Thank them, be gracious, and say, this was a learning experience for us. I learned so much with you. Thank you for bringing this into my life.
Lovely
And
idea.
yes,
Lovely.
and the number one thing, this is important, the number one thing that you can do to keep that bond strong is to take whatever that they gave you, whatever that you learned from them in your life, and pay that forward to someone else. So, for instance, if your companion was, let's say, your best friend, let's say they loved you unconditionally, no matter how bad of a hair day you were having, or, maybe your socks didn't match, or whatever it was,
Oh my goodness.
and be that unconditional, loving soul to someone else.
Someone
So
else.
their legacy, whatever they brought to you, you're going to take that legacy and you're going to honor whatever they filled your life with, and you're going to pay that forward and be that in someone else's life. Be a best friend. Be giving of unconditional love. Honor their legacy and tell them, I'm being a good friend and an unconditional love giver because of what you gave me, Dakota, or whoever your pet's name is. This showing of gratitude and honoring their legacy, this truly keeps those bonds so strong and so connected, because that animal companion is like, yes, look what she's doing, or look what he's doing. They're honoring me, and look what I brought them, and they're so proud because they're
Goodness.
right. They're taking
My goodness. That's so
what they learned and they're
great.
paying it forward. So
That is great.
those are the three simple things you can do, and anyone can do this. And really, truly, it matters. No matter how long your pet has been departed, this could be a childhood pet. Go back all the way to your earliest memory of your childhood pet, and you can do the same thing and pay that legacy forward. And let's say it was just somebody that was, taught you patience. I had my dog Kimber. We butted heads the whole time in our life together. She argued with me about everything, but she taught me patience, and she taught me to understand that there is another perspective other than mine. It doesn't always have to go my way. Maybe it needs to go someone else's way. Maybe I learned to be more flexible. So I, in turn, now pay that forward, and I honor her legacy by being more flexible and realizing it's not my way or the highway. So I'm paying that forward, and I tell her about it. Thank you, Kimber, for teaching me to be more flexible and to honor this legacy that you've shared with me. That is the most powerful thing that you can do for your companions, and they will love you for it, because it shows that you are really paying attention. you're really listening, you're really honoring them, and you're focusing on the positive things and the love that they brought to your life. And that, Roberta, is what it's all about.
What a lovely thing to do, even for pets that have transitioned long ago. They're waiting for you, and they're still waiting. They still love you. I think that's the most important thing for people to take away from the time that we are spending together now. Don't worry about your pets, even the pets that from long ago. There is a way that you can honor them even now. Think about what they gave to you, and honor them by letting them know that what you learned from them and how it is changing your life now, how you are using what they gave you. What a wonderful idea. And that's how you can look forward to when you will see them again. What a wonderful idea.
Wasn't mine, it's what the animals told me. I'm just the messenger. This is what I've learned from them. They're so wise. I would have never thought about that. I mean, they're incredible.
We're coming, unfortunately, toward the end of our time here, but if people want to get in touch with you, how can you help people? What is it you do for people?
Absolutely. So the easiest way to reach me is just simply through my website, which is my name, KarenAnderson.net. That's the easiest way to find me. If you're interested in booking an animal communication session, I retired years ago, but I have colleagues that are extremely gifted that I vetted that conduct pet communication sessions just like I did, that are evidential mediums, just like I was. And they donate a portion of every session to my nonprofit.
Which is great.
Yes. And you can find them by either contacting me through my website. You can go right to the nonprofit site, which is lasthomeforpets.org. Lasthomeforpets.org, all spelled out. You can also just contact me and I'll put you in touch with that information. But also, Roberta, I have a free pet loss app that you can download and get access to everything we're talking about here, plus tons more. And of course, my books are available worldwide, and I'm going to be releasing the narration of my first two books. I finally did the narration for Audible. I just need to finish reviewing the audio files. So hopefully in 2025, the first part, I will get those updated. And I also offer animal communication courses if you're interested in learning how to connect with your companions, which you can also get through my website or through my app. And I'm on Facebook. I have a free practice group for people who want to learn animal communication. We have so many talented members in there that are delivering amazing messages to other members. Members practice with the other members' pets. So lots of great resources and anything that you could possibly think of to help you on your journey after a loss, and just reach out.
I love it. So you've sort of got a whole dynasty here now.
I know. It's like I have so many resources now. So just reach out if you are struggling. I'm not a grief counselor. I want to be very clear about that. I will refer you to certified professionals if you are unable to manage your grief. That I am not. I'm just like you. I grieve, I hurt, I stumble, I fumble, I fall down. So that's not me. I'm not a grief counselor, but I am a pet loss specialist, animal communication expert, and an afterlife specialist. So I can help you in all of those arenas. And, just gathering the information so you know what happens to your pet when they make their transition and how you can stay in touch with them. And the signs they send, oh my gosh, we didn't even talk about those. Next time, we'll have to talk about those.
Next time we'll talk about the signs. I know quite a lot about signs too. So we can share that information. So we'll have you back again soon, my dear. So once again, my beloved friends, we have come to the end of our time together, and this has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. I'm so happy you could be with us today. Please never forget that you are a powerful eternal being. You never began, you never will end. And when you really get all the implications of that fact, wow, it's going to change everything in your life for the better. Next week, our guest will be Dr. Noah St. John, who will be with us for the third time. He's someone who spends his career helping people to make the best of their living and working and financial and spiritual lives put together. That's a trick. He calls himself the father of affirmations, and he also calls himself the mental health coach to the stars. His most recent book is The Seven-Figure Life, How to Leverage the 4 Focus Factors for More Wealth and Happiness. So his book is really about achieving more balance in your life between all the parts of it. And I very much enjoyed his book, to tell you the truth, which is one reason why he's been back so often. I also enjoy him, and each time he's been back, as you can see from the fact he's been here so many times, I immediately wanted to have him back again. I think you really will enjoy him too, so please be sure to join us next week. This week, our guest has been our wonderful, longtime dear friend, Karen Anderson. Karen has been for many years a pet psychic and advocate, and the author of some wonderful books, which include Hear All Creatures, The Amazing Afterlife of Animals, and her most recent book, which is called The Pet I Can't Forget. As she said, it rhymes, so she had to use the word pet there. Finding Hope and Healing with Signs from the Afterlife. I loved her books. They all were great. And Karen's websites, as she recited them above, to tell you the truth, I've already forgotten what they are, but they'll be in the footnotes to this episode. As you know, our great friend Craig Hogan is the president and guru of Seek Reality Online, which is your one-stop resource for all things about the afterlife. Just go to seekreality.com and start to learn for yourself, and that your own reality really is eternal too. And frankly, teachingsbyjesus.com is the place to go if you really want to know about Jesus, because what he told us is the truth. And the Roman Emperor Constantine didn't use the truth when he put together the whole religion that now bears the name of Jesus, but does not bear the truth that Jesus taught. Someday we will have a full website there, and then finally we will be able to help Jesus to give us the truth as he first taught it. I wish I could give you more, but frankly, there is no more time to give you more. We spent so much time. Karen was my dear friend, and I just spent talking, which I just love to do with her. So this has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Please enjoy, please make the most of this coming week in our one reality, always knowing that you in particular are a powerful, eternal being, and you most of all in this whole universe are infinitely, eternally, and perfectly loved.
You've been listening to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Roberta blogs and answers questions at robertagrimes.com. Join us every week as we explore what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about the one reality we all share. Knowing the truth changes everything.